my name is Maya, and welcome to the episode 35 of the Mila's Tinks knitting podcast, where I share all my thoughts, process, and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. Today is the 31st of October 2024. Happy Halloween to those who celebrate, I guess. And I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland, where I live with my gecko. Today the program, I have a ton of stuff to talk about, but a ton of small stuff. I have 3 finished objects, and if you follow me on Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. That was a whole story. And I have 1 work in progress, a lot of swatches again, and a test call. I also have a test call. And I think that's it. Yes, no, I have 2 whips, whatever, you will see when we get to there. But first, what I'm wearing is my Ranunculus sweater by Midori Hirose, and you know this design. I don't think I need to introduce it. I knit it using Pearl Soho linen quill, but the worsted weight version, which I haven't seen in a while, so maybe it is discontinued, I don't know. And the colorway is Kettle Black, which is a lovely heathered black. And you cannot really see what's happening, but I mean, it's the Ranunculus, you know what's happening. I did some modifications. I omitted the short rows in the front because I didn't want the boat neck style. I did a lot more short rows on the back, and I made them come to the front. You can maybe, probably not, but they come until here on the front here, so that I have a real shaping for the back neck, as I usually need it. And I did the normal sleeves with the I-cord thing and the little shaping happening, and I did the same on the body. This is really pretty chaotic, but yeah, like that. And I did also the I-cord here instead of the ribbing, and what I did is I inserted an elastic inside the I-cord so that I could have it cinch in the same way the sleeves do, but without having it being too tight, because if it was just tight like that, normal, without the elastic, I wouldn't be able to put it on. So with the elastic, I have the look without the tightness, which is good. And I really love this guy. I think I did a pretty good job. I also changed you have a little bit of raglan shaping at the end here, and I changed it so that I would have something closer from a compound raglan. I have different increase rates on the sleeves and the body, whatever. The fit is great, I'm super happy, but the yarn is super itchy, and it's gonna be fine for the 1 hour and something I'm gonna record for, but yeah, I don't really wear this guy next to skin usually. I have to wear like a long sleeve, turtleneck layer underneath, otherwise it's impossible. So I'm going to hold my breath during the time I feel, and then I'm going to take it off immediately. And it's really weird because so many people are comfortable with linen quill, and for me it's like so yeah. Oh, there is also one more thing, is that this sweater had it's pretty common, I hear a lot of people talk about that, that the sleeves shrunk, because when I finished it they were like going down here, which is the perfect length for me, but now they are very short bracelet length, and that's because when you bend your elbow you stretch the fabric there, and then when you stretch fabric widthwise it shrinks lengthwise, and then the sleeves get shorter. So I need to, if I block it, the sleeve is gonna come back to the length I want, but then it's gonna shrink again. So what I need to do is lengthen it. And I have a little nugget left, so I just need to do it, but I don't do it, because I have always better stuff to do. But yeah, I really should. Especially since I need to wear a layer underneath, and the layer is really this length, so it's really, I don't like the look when the underlayer is longer than the top layer. Whatever. So that's what I'm wearing, and let's jump immediately into the finished objects, which, as I mentioned, I have 3. And they are, all 3 of them, at my feet, rolled up in little burritos, and they are super cute. So yeah, the 3 finished objects I have are my own design. It's the Halmoni Cowl and the Halmoni Shawlette. It's a double pattern. I mean, there are 2 different files, but you buy only one pattern and you get the 2. So the Shawlette looks like this. It's a small shawl. All over cables, and this one is the fingering weight version. Super cute, super nice. And then you have the cowl version, which is a cowl. And this one is also the fingering weight version. So you have the shaping here on the back, and it looks like this. And then I also have finished a worsted weight version, which is exactly the same as the fingering, except it's in worsted weight. And the thing with this pattern, these patterns, is that it is gaugeless, which means you can use any yarn weight between fingering to worsted. And I did so many samples because I wanted to test out my idea, and it works. I'm happy to report that it works. And I'm just going to show you the other 2 I finished in the latest episode. So this one is also the cowl, but it's the worsted weight. Worsted weight, fingering weight. This one is bigger, of course, because it's fingering, so you can knit longer. And then I have another worsted weight shawlette compared to the fingering. Here, you cannot see anything. Whatever. So the 3 I finished, this one is knit using a discontinued brand, which is Olen, and the base is Mera. It's like the 20th time I say this name on the camera and I still don't know how to pronounce it. And it's a special yarn because it's milled by the former owner of Olen, which is a Scottish brand, and it's a marled yarn. So it's difficult to see here, but it's actually a purple thread and a green, not thread, ply, purple ply with green ply plied together to make a super nice low contrast marled yarn. I'm gonna show you a picture of the skein, it's gonna be easier to see. And yeah, I had a 100-gram skein that I knit up in a top, a summer top, but this is slightly itchy when it's negative ease, and the top was negative ease, so it was itchy, and it was too small, so I unraveled everything and I knit this instead, which is perfect because this feels very soft when it's like that against me, and it's also super warm because it's non-superwash yarn, and I really like this color. I love purple and green together. So I'm just super happy I unraveled this top to make something a lot more wearable with this very special yarn since it is discontinued. So I used the whole skein. I only have 10 grams left, which I'm super annoyed about because this is knit from tip to tip, and when I started the decreases there, my skein was exactly 100 grams, and when I started the decreases I had 52 grams left, and I have 10 grams left. Even though for most people decreasing takes up more yarn, for me apparently it doesn't. So I was this close from ripping it all until the midpoint, knit it a little bit longer and then start decreasing again, but I didn't because of time. Because I wanted to finish this guy on Tuesday. I'm gonna explain later why. So this is the first finished object. The second one is also the shawlette. This one is knit using Hey Mama Wolf in the base Skadi. I have the tag. Skadi. And it's a worsted weight. The brand is here. It's a worsted weight yarn, and it's from Germany, and it's super soft. Someone recommended it in the comments, and when I saw it I immediately bought it because someone recommended it. And I agree, it's super soft. It was very lovely to work with. I really love the drapiness of the finished object. Gorgeous. I knit this one on 3.5mm needles and this one on 4.5mm, and I really like the way it ended up being. And I like to wear them like this. Like a little scarf, little shawlette thing, little cowl really. It looks a little bit like a cowl when I wear it like this, but yeah. Super snug, super warm, super comfortable. I love them. So yeah, that's the second one, and the last one is the cowl, the actual cowl, and this one is knit using Explorer Knits and Fibers Earthy Sock, which is the non-superwash merino base in fingering weight, and the colorway is Nightfall. And I had the skin for a while and I didn't really know what to do with it. I mainly bought it because I wanted to try out the base, and I thought when I received it that the base was a little bit scratchy in the skin form, but when it's knit up, it's super soft. So now I'm really happy to have this next to my face actually, because it's super soft. And as you can see, it's hugging my face because I did some decreases, some shaping in the tube part of the cowl so that it does this. Because I really don't like when a cowl has no shaping and it kind of is droopy like that, and then it's completely useless because your neck is cold. So I did some shaping so that it would fit like that. And mine is extra long because fingering weight goes a long way, but you can also fold it like this to have a little bit more room around your face. And ooh, I'm so happy about this one. I really like everything about it. Yeah, so those are my 3 finished objects, and I wanted to finish all 3 of them. Where's the last one? Oh, my last one. Oh, it's there. I wanted to finish all 3 of them before Tuesday because I wanted to put out the test call for this design. So the Shawlette and the cowl. It's super difficult because cowl is like the sound CA, but it's written CO, and Shawlette is the sound SHO, but it's written SHA. It's super confusing for me, so I'm sorry if I mix them up. The Shawlette and the cowl are like 2-in-1 design pattern thing, so I put out the test call for that yesterday. So the form is still up on my Instagram. You can just click the link in the bio, but I will also put it in the description of this video if you want to apply, and I will close the test call on Saturday morning. And yeah, I already got a lot of applications, but if you want to try, you can still apply. I haven't selected the testers yet. So you have the Shawlette, which comes in 3 sizes. Each size is for a different weight, and it's not like you need to hit a certain gauge if you have a certain type of weight of yarn. It's more like you have a range of gauge you need to be kind of within, and then you knit until you use up a certain amount of yarn, and then there is instructions and charts on what to do for if you want to do a flat part down here. If you can see that, it's flat here. There is not a tip on this one. And then when you use up a certain amount of yarn, you need to start the decreases. And all of this is calculated with percentages, and I explained to you how to calculate percentages. It's very well explained, very well written, don't worry about that. And that way you can use up the most of your skein. So this is designed to use up single skeins of yarn, so a single skein of fingering or single skein of worsted, DK, sport, whatever, anything. And you should be left with less than 5 grams at the end, like this one has, and not 10 grams like I had, but whatever. And yeah, so it's a gaugeless design. I will really want to stress this out. It's that it's gaugeless. You do not need to measure your gauge or to hit a certain gauge or to check your measurements, whatever. You do not need to do that. You just cast on. It's a little bit like the Musselburgh hat. You cast on here and you knit for a while, and then you weigh how much yarn you have used, and depending on that you will select the size you can knit with your yarn, and then you follow the instructions, and you need to have a scale to know how much yarn you have left. So that's the only thing you absolutely need to have. But yeah, you don't need to measure your gauge, you don't need to measure anything actually. Yeah, so that's for the Shawlette, and for the cowl it's a little bit different. You need to knit for a while, and then you actually need to block it because you need to know how wide this little guy is. You will understand when you have the pattern, but yeah. And then you continue increasing until you hit a certain length, and then you join in the round, and then you knit in the round with decreases until you run out, basically. And there are two sizes for the cowl. There is the fingering weight, which is this one, and the worsted weight, which is a little bit smaller. I'm gonna put on the worsted weight so you can see. So this one, as you can see, it's pretty wide here, and the worsted weight is a little bit smaller. It's a little bit more snug, and it fits like this. So it's snug around the face again, and it's just a little bit less generous in ease, but the idea is the same. And you can also fold it if you want to have a little bit more room. Wow, I really like it. So yeah, that's the Halmoni Shawlette and Halmoni Cowl, the test call. The test application form is in the description box, and if you want more pictures and informations, everything is in the test application form. So yeah, that's it for my 3 finished objects. There is one important thing that I forgot to mention. The release of this design will be on the 26th of November. So in 1 month. The test will run for 4 weeks, which means when the pattern is out you will have exactly 1 month to do gift knitting, because I think this is perfect for gift knit. Shawlette, you don't really need to have a size. If you want to gift one to someone, you don't need it to be a particular size to be wearable, so I think it's nice for gift knitting. And the cowl is actually pretty, like, anybody can wear this size, really. Especially the bigger size, the fingering weight one, really anyone can wear that one. So it's also great for gift knitting, and it's only one skein, so it doesn't take too much time. So I think it's perfect. So the idea is that, and it will be a charity release. I already mentioned that a few times, but for the new people around here, I wanted to do that because first I can. For now my financial situation is about to get complicated, but not yet, so I just wanted to take the opportunity to do that while I still can, so it's now or never. And I selected 2 charity organizations that I will donate 100% of the proceeds of during the first week of the release. I will split half of the proceeds to each organization. I selected the 2 organizations based on your comments on one of my earlier videos, and I didn't select one that was mentioned in particular. However, what I did do is use your suggestions as guidelines to select one that was near me, like local to me. My criteria were that I wanted something very local and something really small, completely unknown. And yeah, very local to me, and I wanted to have something related to humans and something related to animals. It was just, I decided like that. It was just what I feel the most drawn towards. And so I found 2 charity. The first one is super small, super local, and it's located in a town near me actually, and I will read you the description I did on Instagram because I took the time to write them out, and it's like, I'm not very comfortable with the whole organization charity vocabulary in English, and it's super difficult for me to talk about that because I just don't have the words in my head. So I will read out the descriptions I have already made because it will be so much clearer for you as well. So the first one is Kumea.ch. It's a very small and local organization saving all kinds of small stray animals, but especially cats. They don't have a shelter and work with families who will host the animals until they can be released or adopted. They are located close to me and have saved more than 200 cats in 2023, which is super lovely. And I love cats. I'm really obsessed with cats, and I already explained that in the Q&A video, I think, but I don't think I can have one for various reasons, so I would really like to help out cats in one way or another, and this shelter is super close to me, so it's actually going to help cats that I might even see myself in the streets. So yeah, I think this is something that's really important for me, and it felt like a good choice for me personally. The second organization is arparoman.ch. It's a small organization financially helping the families of blind children. They can give out money without any complicated or lengthy administrative barriers, allowing immediate support when it's needed. For example, when a child needs an attendant for a school trip with a short notice. They can also lend money rapidly when there is too much delay for the federal support. For example, when a child needs some special equipments for studying, the federal support can take months of administrative back and forth before finally giving the money needed, and in this case, the ARPA organization can immediately lend the amount needed and wait a few months before getting reimbursed. So this also felt really fitting because I also have, I'm not blind and I do not have blind children, but we all know, we have all experienced the administrative slowness. We all know it can take a lot of time and how frustrating it is, and how, it's very difficult situation, and I was super happy to see there is actually an organization that can just help out, cut the waiting time in those cases, and yeah, it felt super important for me. And it's also very local. This is happening in my canton, which is equivalent of a state in Switzerland. And yeah, so I selected those two because also they are super small, not very well known, and I figured it was important to also give some visibility and money to those kinds of organizations. So that's it for charity release. When the time comes, I will talk about that again, but yeah, that's my plan. So if you are not selected for the testnet, or if you just don't have the time or don't want to testnet, you will have the opportunity to buy those patterns on the 26th of November and support those two organizations. I think that's it this time. One more thing about this guy. I mentioned the yarn was suggested to me and it's super nice and everything, and I just wanted to make a tiny review about what I think about it. It's super soft, as I mentioned, there is no itch factor at all. It was very nice to work with, but if I compare it to my favorite non-superwash merino wool, I prefer my original favorite. This one is not better, I think, because it feels a little bit like it has a little bit less memory. Like when you have a hair tie, you know, when you have, it's a pretty bad comparison, but when you have bad quality hair ties, you can yeah, you know this feeling when you pull on an elastic and it's not elastic until the end, kind of. And this feels a little bit like that. There is some elasticity in the thread, but pretty soon it stops being elastic and it's just a thread. Just a thread, not elastic anymore. And in comparison, the other, my favorite non-superwash merino wool, you can continue pulling on it and it will continue to have this feeling of elasticity until it breaks. And I just prefer that. So this is still super nice, and this is actually a lot more drapey, which is normal, than the other merino that I'm talking about. So it's just different properties, and I just prefer the one that has more elasticity than more drape. Just a personal thing. So yeah, if you're looking for drapiness, this is amazing, really. But yeah, just wanted to do my tiny review about that. Yes, the next thing I wanted to talk about is a swatch, and it's also for a design. I have never talked about that one because it's new. Actually, no, I have mentioned I had an idea for a Nutiden cardigan. How do you say that? Cardigan? Jacket. And I showed you the yarn I wanted to use, which is this one. It's Nutiden, it's an unspun yarn, and the colorway is Merkel 2022, which was the festive colorway from Christmas 2022. And I have 500 grams of this, and I wanted to do a cardigan. Why can't I say this word? Whatever. And my idea was that the type of garment I wear the most when I go out is, during the fall and spring. I don't really wear that during summer and winter, but yeah, during transitional season is I think it's called a shacket. It's like a shirt jacket. And actually I can grab my one. It's this type of thing, like a shirt jacket with the collar here and then the pockets here, and it's super, this one is absolutely huge and it's super comfortable and it's warm and it's sturdy also, and I just really like that. And it also goes very low, so it covers my butt, so when you sit on a bench outside you don't have the cold bench touching your butt, which I hate. So I really like this type of thing during the transitional weather season, and I just wanted to make one, to knit one. And there are a ton of shacket patterns out there that are really great. I think my favorite one is the, I don't know the name, it's like a down to dusk something shacket, I think, by, oh I forgot, it's written there. And I really like it, but yeah, it seems like a commitment, and I think the gauge is pretty small. And yeah, I had an idea of something I wanted to do using Nutiden, so I swatched and I did it. And here is my first swatch. It looks even better on camera. So this is not going to be all over texture. My idea is to have, when you look at it, this guy, it's going to be easier to see on the back. But there is this kind of, I'm just going to put it on me. There is this kind of seam. There is a seam here at the top of the back, and I wanted to use this design feature, which is pretty common in shacket styles, so I wanted to keep that. And I also wanted to kind of keep the pockets on the front, which are kind of aligned with the, this is super difficult to show. You know what, I have another one. Way better! I told you I love wearing this type of thing. So the seam on the back, oh it's super light, it's difficult to see, is here. It's pretty high up on the back, and then you have the pocket and it's kind of aligned with the seam. So my idea was to have this texture until, from the neckline to the seam, like this. And then to have it on the front as the top of the pocket, and on the back just as the seam you see on the back. So that was my idea. But this one I knit 2 strands on 5.5mm needles, or even 6, I don't remember. I should have written it down. Wait, I can do 5.5mm. But it's a little bit, it's great, but not for a shacket. It feels great for something that would be light and airy, but a shacket needs to be a little bit more dense and sturdy, in my opinion. So this is a little bit too sloppy. So I sized down, and I knit a second swatch. What's the right side? This one. So this is knit on 5mm needles, and then I switched to stockinette. So it's going to be like this. So that's my idea, and you should have a pocket opening at some point happening here. I haven't really sorted that out yet. And then you have the stockinette body and stockinette sleeves coming out like that, and it's gonna be amazing. I'm so excited. So that's my idea, and the only thing I'm not sure about is that this guy, it's a combination of 1x1 cables and 4 cables, mock cables. It's a combination of both, and it's pretty funny to knit, I think, but it's kind of thick because it's cables and it's ribbing, so yeah, this is kind of, there is a lot of dimension to that one. It's not like too dense or anything, but it's thick, and this is thinner. It's Nutiden, so it's still thick, but it's definitely thinner than this one. So I'm not 100% sure that the transition between the two thicknesses is really the best, but I think it's okay. But I still need a little bit of time to think about that, but yeah. For now, that's where I'm at. Can you imagine the look of the little shacket like that? With the stockinette body? Super excited. And I really love the idea of the back with the, like the band of texture over the shoulders, and then the stockinette flowing from it. It's gonna be amazing. I'm super excited. So yeah, that's my next project, and we will see when I actually get to it, because I need to do a test knit and I'm pretty short on time, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to knit this guy on top of the test knit. So we will see when I actually get to it, but yeah, for now the idea is here and I still need to give it a little bit of thought anyway, so I'm not really in a hurry. And speaking of swatches and speaking of the test knit, I can show you, you probably know what I'm talking about if you've been around here for any amount of time, but I'm completely blown out. I am test knitting the Maxine Sweater by Laura Penrose, and it was a journey to select my colors, especially the main color. No, all colors really, but yeah. I wanted to use up what I had in my stash, but I couldn't because I don't have a ton of sweater quantities. So I could find colors that would be fine for the colorwork part, but I couldn't find anything that would work for the main color. So I finally found something at the yarn festival I went to last week or 2 weeks ago, and I found this burgundy color, which is Biches, le Petit Lambswool in the colorway I don't remember. And I held it double, and it's looking glorious. I really like the way it speaks to the turquoise, the teal here. I really love it. Perfect. But the grey here is a little bit too light, and it's a little bit too low contrast there. I mean, it could work, but I would prefer if it was a little bit darker. So I tried with something else I had in stash, which is this one, and it's a little bit too dark, because here it's too close from the burgundy, and then this one is too high contrast between the teal, and I don't really like the way it looks. So I just wanted something between the two. So when I ordered, because I could only buy 3 balls of the main color at the festival, so I ordered the 5 I was missing, and I added 1 ball of medium grey in the same base to the order, because on the website, you know where I'm getting to. On the website it looked like the perfect grey that was exactly between those two. Darker than this one and lighter than this one. It looked perfect. And when I received it, it's super light. It's even lighter than the one I had in the swatch. It's so light! And on the website it looked so much darker. There are 4 different grey tones, 4 or 5 in the Bûches, le Petit Lambswool range. I will write them here. And this one is Gris Moyen. And I have the Gris très foncé. Gris très foncé is this guy. It's dark. Even darker, blacker than this one, which is kettle black. So when I was on the website, I saw that Gris très foncé, very dark grey, was this dark, so I figured 1 shade darker, which is Gris foncé dark grey, would be too dark, because it would be 1 shade darker than this one, which is way darker than the grey I used here. I mean, way, it is darker. Wait, I have a... This is what I used. So they are very close. So 1 shade darker, no, lighter than this one would be a little bit lighter than this one, but I figured it would be too dark still. So that's why I went with the Gris Moyen, middle grey, but this is super light. And there is a light grey still. So I was just super annoyed. So what I could do is order the dark grey, Gris foncé, which is the one between those two, in hope that it would be not too dark. But then I went to the website of Biches, and the shipping cost for 2 skeins were even higher than for the 6 skeins I bought earlier for some reason. I don't know. Maybe there was a discount when I bought over 50 euros or something. I don't know. It was super expensive, and I had already bought a skein that I was not gonna use, and this is super annoying. So yeah, I went on the website of one of my local yarn stores, and I browsed through the non-superwash suitable weight of yarn she had, and I actually found some colorways that are discontinued on the Peer Gynt and Knitting for Olive, and I don't remember. I saw a ton that were discontinued and that were greys that could work. So I'm gonna go there tomorrow to see if I can find something that's between those two guys and that's suitable. But I'm super annoyed. So I basically waited for almost a week until I got this yarn before casting on my sweater, and it's not the correct yarn, and now I still have to wait more until I can get to my local yarn store, hoping they will have something. And yeah, basically I only have 2 weeks left to finish the sweater, which is fine. I'm not worried about that. I know I can knit pretty fast if I need to, but in the meantime, instead of just waiting, I decided to cast on another swatch because I found some other possibilities to replace the grey in this thing. So I swatched using this red to replace the grey, and it looks nice, but it's a tiny bit too Clue-esque, if you see what I mean. Like, it feels a little bit too cartoony. I don't know, it feels a lot less elegant than with the grey, I think. No? I don't know. So I like this, but I would get a lot less wear out of this, I think. So I think I'm just going to get back to the grey and wait until tomorrow when I can go to my local yarn store, see if I find something I like amongst the discontinued yarns she has, and find something. So I didn't finish the swatch. I still have it on the needles here so that I can immediately use the new yarn I will buy tomorrow in the swatch and decide if it's okay or not. And I'm gonna speed knit through this guy the same way I speed knit through the 3 Shawlettes and Cowls I needed to do. I'm a fast knitter, fortunately, so it will be fine, but yeah. That's the story about the Maxine Sweater that is still not cast on, even though I really, really wanted to. And now I have this guy that I don't know what to do with. Whatever. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is my work in progress. I have 2 works in progress. They are really small, really cute, and let's start with the cutest of the 2. You're not ready. It's really super cute. It's a little pumpkin! So I mentioned that quite often already, but this is the Jasmine Pumpkin pattern by this designer. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the name, I'm sorry. So I cast it on this morning. It's obviously crochet, hence the little crochet in there. And it's super fast to do, super easy, super fun. I love it. I really, really love it. And I was actually about to finish it. I'm about a little bit less than halfway through, but I only have this much left. And I weighed it before I started. I had 32 grams. And I also have this guy. And I wanted to like fade the darker orange into the white and have the white at the top of the pumpkin, like this, in a fade, because I'm holding the Nutiden double. And I made it through almost half, and I have used up half of this, which means to finish the pumpkin I'm going to finish all the yarn I have. But this orange is the one I used here for the Maxine, this little guy. So I need to leave myself a little bit of it, because if I use everything in the pumpkin I won't be able to do the Maxine and I will have to find another contrast yarn, which I don't want to. So I had to pause, unfortunately, even though I was so excited to finish this guy. So I will pause, finish the color work of the Maxine, and then use up what I have left to finish the pumpkin, and I won't have enough. So I think I will use, I have maybe a white or even the grey or whatever, I don't care. I will do the top of the pumpkin in a different color. I think white. I have some white. So maybe I can maul the top of the pumpkin with that. Whatever, that's my plan. Super cute. And it's funny because the pattern, the designer, this pattern is like incredible. The Jasmine stitch is a little bit difficult to like understand the first time you do it, but once you understand how it works, it's super easy. And the designer really tells you this is not a beginner pattern. the Jasmine stitch is tricky, which is true, and you will have a better time starting with something easier that does not involve like increasing and decreasing whatever, to understand how the Jasmine stitch works before tackling this project. And it's true, it's an excellent advice, but I happen to have already understood the Jasmine stitch because I have crochet a rug with it, so I understand what's happening. And now that I know what's happening, the pattern is like so easy. It's super well written, I really love it. And there is even a step-by-step photo tutorial of the whole thing. So even if you don't know the Jasmine stitch and if you're a total beginner, actually the pattern is written for you because you have the step-by-step guide with the picture of each and every stitch. So great pattern, really. I really recommend it. And she has actually a ton of designs using the Jasmine stitch. Basically everything you can think of, there is a pattern for it by this designer. So go and check out her Ravelry page. And if you want to try something, go on. It's really so satisfying to do. Perfect timing for the battery change. My last work in progress is the super chaotic Entrelac experiment I am doing. And I did a lot of knitting on it, but again, Entrelac is so slow to make that it looks like I haven't done anything, but I have almost finished my yarn. I actually don't think I can finish the row I just started. I did 1, 2, 3, I'm on the 4th row, and I don't know how I'm gonna do because I'm running out of yarn. Anyway, this is it's not a pattern, it's not anything. I'm just trying to make a purse or a pouch using the Entrelac stitch, so it goes in this direction. And this yarn is self-striping yarn I used to make socks, and I had a little bit of leftovers, so I decided to use it for this. And as I mentioned already, it's not really the best choice because now I have stripes among my Entrelac rectangles, which looks super weird, and now you're kind of losing the Entrelac motif, so not the best choice. But it's okay, it's funny, and I learned a lot doing that. And I forgot to mention, I also learned to knit backwards because you're doing super small and tiny sections of knitting here on the needle, and you knit the few stitches and then you need to turn your work and purl your way back. Super annoying to do, especially since you have a ton of needles like that hanging around. So I just learned to knit backwards, again because the person that inspired me to do this, which is Layton, which is a podcast. The name of the podcast is Lay Knits. She's super sweet, go and check her out. She also did it by knitting backwards, and I had already heard about knitting backwards thanks to Kelsey from the Garden Variety Knits podcast, and I have been curious to learn to do it since then, and this was the little push I needed to finally learn, and it's super easy! What a surprise! And it's funny to do, so yeah, I am doing this by knitting backwards and having fun. But my problem now is, as I mentioned, I'm going to run out of yarn, but this is like a super weird color combination, and I don't really know what to do to finish it. I don't really have... I mean, I have a little nugget of black yarn left, of sock, like merino nylon sock yarn. That would be nice for this, but I want to use it for something else. So I took out my little jar of leftovers. This is all the nuggets of leftover yarns I own in fingering weight. I have another jar that has the non-fingering weight scraps, but it's like full like this. I have almost nothing. I don't like scraps, so I generally try to use them up in the project, but I can actually add those three guys, the leftovers from the Shawlettes and the Cowl, into the jar. There is a hair. And I missed one, so yeah. The jar is almost full, which means I need to use them up. So I don't think I can pick something in there. I have the... what do I have? There is some red, orange, and navy blue. There's maybe this guy here. It's a hand-dyed variegated yarn. It might work, maybe. Maybe not. It's maybe gonna be a little bit too busy. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm just going to try and find something to finish this guy. My plan is to make a folded over stockinette edge at the top, and then I'm going to knit an I-cord, and I'm going to thread the I-cord through the tube and have it as a little cinching purse, so that we can use it with my D&D party to put our dice into. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. So making good progress, but also it's super slow. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, those are my 2 works in progress. Since I finished all my works in progress this week, I don't have anything on my needles because I wanted to cast on the Maxine, but I couldn't because of this whole contrast color thing. So that's why I cast on the Pumpkin, but now it's also stopped because I want to use the yarn for the Maxine Sweater. So basically the Maxine Sweater is blocking all of my other projects. I really need to knit that guy. Anyway, the last thing I wanted to talk about is acquisitions. So of course I bought the yarn for the Maxine, so the burgundy yarn and the light grey yarn, but I also went to a new to me local yarn shop, which is actually not local to me, but it's very close from where my parents live. So I went there on Tuesday, and she's not only selling yarn, the owner, I mean, she has also clothes and a ton of stuff really, but I was interested in the yarn, so I went there and I bought this, which is a skein of sock yarn. It's a Lang Yarn Super Socks color 4-ply. It's a pretty random 75-25 merino nylon blend, and it knits up like this. I thought it looked cool, and I like the beige and burgundy color. And I bought this because a friend of mine, who is a climber, we usually see each other at the crag when we climb, and I saw him 2 weeks ago, I think, and he came to me and he said, "Hey Maya, do you like honey?" And I was like, "Are you asking that because my name is Maya?" But I didn't say it because he didn't seem like the kind of guy that would make such a dumb joke to me. So I just said, "Yes, I love honey." And 1 year ago we already had a discussion because he knows I'm a knitter, and he said to me he really loves hand-knit socks, and I told him, yeah, I knit hand-knit socks for people sometimes, but I prefer to sell them because they are a lot of work and it's super expensive, and I don't actually feel comfortable at asking like $100 to someone for a pair of hand-knit socks, which is already underselling. But yeah, so I can knit pairs of socks for people, but I don't generally do it super often. And it didn't go further than that, and he asked me if I liked honey because he happens to be a beekeeper, amongst other things, and he suggested we could trade super time-consuming stuff to make together, so he could trade me honey against hand-knit socks. And I was like, yes, I love honey. I eat some every day in the morning with some bread and butter. I just love that. So I was on the hunt for a funny and nice sock yarn, which there was a lot of at the new local yarn shop. I mean, all of my local yarn shop have some, but I just wanted to take a look at this new one. Actually, I learned about the yarn shop because the owner wrote to me on Instagram saying I should come by and say hello one day. That was like 6 months ago. So when I was there, I had a little chat with the owner, and I told her, I'm Maya, you wrote to me on Instagram a while ago, blah blah, and she told me that I also know her husband, apparently, because he goes to the same climbing gym as me. And I was like, I know your whole family. So that was fun. Yeah. I love knitting socks, but I don't wear them for a ton of reasons. But yeah, but I love knitting them. So now, actually, I was very hesitant to cast on the socks instead of the pumpkin. But if I cast on the socks, I'm gonna get too distracted from the sweater, from the Maxine Sweater once I cast it on. So I didn't, but I really want to. Alright. Right, that's all I wanted to talk about for the knitting. Now I just wanted to do a little... A while ago I did a video, I think it was the fall knitting plans, and I talked about the fact that I like wearing hats because my ears are super cold, but I always have the issue that my hair gets into a huge tangled mess against my neck when I wear a hat, because I turn my head like that and then it just messes everything up, and I hate that. So I was considering knitting like a Musselburgh hat, but leaving an opening at the top to have my ponytail through the opening of the hat, and I was wondering if it would look weird or what, and I was asking for suggestions in the comments, and I got a ton of super funny comments of people that had the same issue as me, so apparently I'm not alone. So that was nice to not feel alone anymore about that, and I got a lot of suggestions as well, and also people telling me that they have already seen the hole at the top of the hat to have the ponytail inside, and it doesn't look weird at all, so I'm going to try that. So now I also need to add Musselburgh hat to my to knit list for the fall. Too many things to knit. But yeah, I had completely forgotten to talk about that again, and someone in the comments asked me what was the conclusion of this whole story, and here it is, at least 5 episodes later. The conclusion is I will try the Musselburgh with a hole, and I hope sooner rather than later, because it's getting quite cold these days. The last thing I wanted to talk about today is the climbing competition I mentioned I was going to last week, and it happened, and it was super fun. I had a ton of fun, there were a lot of people, I got a great t-shirt, and yeah, it was a super funny moment. I actually made it into the finals. I was super surprised. But I almost didn't because I messed up. We had an app on the phone where we had to count our points into, and I messed up and I forgot half of my points. And there were 8 women that were qualified into the finals, and I was the 9th, even though I had climbed a ton, like a whole lot more than the 8th woman, because I forgot to put my points in the app. So I was not qualified. But then one of the women that was qualified, I think it was the 3rd or the 4th, she withdrew because she had pain here in her neck. So I was saved to take her spot. So I was in the finals in the end. I was supposed to be if I didn't make a mistake, but whatever. I was in the finals and it was super fun. But the thing is, as I mentioned, usually at this competition there is a group of French climbers that are actually like super strong climbers and that are part of the national climbing team of France, which is one of the best nations of climbers in the whole world. So they are super strong, and basically they are so strong they are not allowed to compete in friendly comps in France because they are so strong, and they are competing in Switzerland. Anyway, they are super nice people and it's funny to have them, and it's actually also nice for the event in itself, because then we have super strong people coming, and it's always cool to see super strong people climbing with you in the gym. So yeah, it's funny. But then I was the 8th in the qualified woman, and it was in a dual form, like you were at the bottom of the boulder and you had to climb the fastest you can, and the first one that made it to the top and that managed to grab a stick and ring the bell at the top of the boulder was the one who won. So basically it was a speed comp at the end for the finals. And I'm not a very speedy climber at all. And on top of that, as I was the 8th qualified, I competed against the 1st qualified. So I had 0 chance, but I still gave it my best, and actually I think I climbed pretty well. And it was funny because so many people told me afterwards, "Wow, Maya, I have never seen you climb this fast in my entire life," and I was like, "Me neither." I'm gonna show you the footage of the duel. It went pretty fast, of course, and I learned afterwards that this woman in particular, she has won the 2nd place at the national bouldering competition in France, so she was like insanely strong. So I'm actually pretty happy of how good of a fight I put up next to her. So yeah, that was it for my finals. I was out pretty fast, but it's okay. It was fun. And there was another woman who I know, and we are usually in finals together whenever there is a competition. She's stronger than me, but for some reason I'm always in the finals with her. And we wanted to compete against each other because we are friends, and we just wanted to know who between us two would win if we were competing. So after the competition, once the finals were over, we did a little duel against each other, and it was so fun. I'm gonna put again the video here because it was a perfect tie. We grabbed the stick exactly at the same moment, and we were fighting to know which one of us would manage to keep it. It lasted for like 1 minute, and hanging for 1 minute on one arm and trying to fight for a stick with someone else is pretty hard. So yeah, that was so long, and none of us wanted to let go of the stick. So finally she was graceful and she let go and she let me win. But yeah, basically it was a perfect tie between us two, which is pretty funny. I mean, afterwards we asked to see the video, and then we slowed down and we started to see it frame by frame which one of us took the stick first, and it was the perfect tie. Yeah, that was funny. So yeah, that's it about the comp. It was a super great moment. I had a ton of fun, and I'm already excited about the next one, which is actually happening next week. It's on the 7th of November, and it's not in my local gym, and it's in a gym that I don't really like because I don't really like the setting style there, and also the people there. I don't know why. For some reason the people are not... They are friendly, but they are super rude. Like, for example, when you climb, it's the basic safety rule that you do not climb under someone that's already climbing. But for some reason in this other gym nobody cares, and it's just super dangerous, and I just don't like the general vibe that's happening during the comps there. So I will go with a friend of mine, and I hope we will stick together and manage to have fun between us and avoid the dangerous people that are gonna climb below us. But yeah, we should see. Anyway, so that's it for the climbing, and that's it for today's episode. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're as excited as I am for everything that's coming up. And if you want to follow my journey with the Maxine Sweater, that I'm probably gonna have to speed knit through again, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm probably gonna do the same as I did for the 3 Shawlettes and Cowls. It's gonna be fun. So yeah. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any future content from me. And you can leave me a comment, of course, if you have anything you would like to say about everything I talked about today, which is a ton. And yeah, leave me a like, all of that, and thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. I hope I will see you back again soon. Thanks for watching. Happy knitting. Bye.